What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I have some breaking news to report, and it involves Doris Burke. Now, Doris Burke, of course, had been, up until today, part of the top tier basketball or NBA announcing team that involved herself, Mike Breen, and Richard Jefferson. Well, today ESPN demoted Doris Burke from that top tier team, that A-list team that, of course, covered the NBA Finals. She's been replaced by Tim Legler. Tim Legler, the former NBA player, and Tim Legler also is a longtime analyst and contributor to ESPN. Now, Doris Burke has been criticized by many for some of her controversial takes. Some people feel that her biases show in her commentary. And also she got in trouble, although I kind of got the reference, but she made a World War One reference, I think, this past playoffs. I forgot exactly the scenario, but a lot of people were somehow offended by that. Whatever. And just overall, a lot of people have had some issues with her takes. She's a very knowledgeable basketball personality. And when she talks the game in an X's and O's manner, she's very, very good. But sometimes, you get the impression that she doesn't understand that as a basketball commentator, you have to try very hard to appear to be nonpartisan for any team. And some people feel like she's, for instance, some people think she was very anti-Shea in her commentary. Some people have accused her of being too pro-Jokic. So whatever the case may be, she's been demoted. Now, of course, for many years, that A-list team was Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy. And, Jeff Van Gundy became the almost beloved, curmudgeonly, yet insightful, almost Seinfeldian, George Costanza type neurotic complaint. I mean, he just had a niche about himself where he would make the gripes about the game that a lot of us were feeling, you know what I'm saying? And that was relatable. Apparently, Adam Silver didn't like the fact that Van Gundy was making so many complaints, and Van Gundy was pretty much fired because Adam Silver was leaning on ESPN to do so, much to the disdain of many basketball fans. Ultimately, they also fired Mark Jackson, and that's why Richard Jefferson, I think the original team was Doris Burke and J.J. Redneck. But then J.J. Redneck, of course, got the coaching job with the Lakers, and I think he was ultimately replaced by Richard Jefferson. So look, me personally, when it comes to legs, as Tim Legler is known, I think this is a great upgrade. Tim Legler knows the game of basketball. He's a tremendous analyst. I love hearing his opinions. I agree with him almost 100% of the times whenever he's making points. And I think he'll be a welcome addition. And I also want to point something else out. And this is the thing about my channel that a lot of people don't like. Unlike 99% of black commentators on here, I have no problems mentioning race. It just doesn't affect me. I'm from a different era. I'm from like the era of Sanford and Son, all the family, the Jeffersons. Race is just part of the fabric of life. People will call me sensitive for mentioning race, right? But it's only because whenever I make a point about race that they don't like. When I'm saying something that they do like, then, you know, I'm one of the, I get it. He gets it, by golly. The point I'm trying to make, though, when I say I'm mentioning race is, it's quite obvious that ESPN is making some subtle changes to their on-air personalities. They notice certain things. They notice that, you know, when you look at the numbers, ESPN has had diminished subscriptions, and it has coincided with this perception that ESPN has become more, quote unquote, woke, more of a leftist agenda. And, you know, you could also see that more of their on-air talent has become more predominantly minority and female. They see what's out there. They know that there is a contingency of fans who are, they want to see someone or more people that represent or represent something they can identify with. So a little bit of that might have went into this hiring of legs. It's not just that, but yeah, I am kind of saying reverse affirmative action may have helped legs a little bit. Okay, yeah, I am indeed saying that. I know some people are going to have a problem with that because they can't comprehend what the fuck I'm talking about. But other than that, though, I don't have a problem with it. I think they need to get rid of Richard Jefferson. He sucks. I don't give a fuck who the color of the guy is, but they need to get rid of Richard Jefferson and replace him with somebody that, first of all, you can tolerate his fucking voice. And you know, I just want to get rid of any last semblance of LeBron stoogism, because he is a LeBron stooge. Get rid of all those clowns, man. You know? Trying to get rid of all these dudes from major networks. But yeah, Doris Burke has been demoted, man. But tell me what you guys think about that.